जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
From a highway to city roads with lots of bumps and back to the highway, that's what this innings felt like. Pooran's given the boost to Lucknow to get them to 181 in their 20 overs. But will this be enough? We'll find out. I'm Saiyami Kher. You're watching us on Cricbuzz Live. I'm joined by Michael and Harsha. Michael, firstly, the most important thing, isn't it? Applause for Michael. Well done. He's off the mark. You're off the mark, like you said, you're a slow starter, but you're getting there.
Yeah, I'm just like Mumbai. Said that at the start. It's a good omen for Mumbai.
Yes.
And
Good
also,
omen.
the other important thing is Gaurav Kapoor doesn't get any points in today's game. That's the important thing. But getting back to the game, Nicholas Pooran, why is he coming so late? It's a question which we just don't have answers to.
True, but I think, you started off with a good parallel. It was like driving in Mumbai, this innings. Stop, start. You suddenly get speed, and then suddenly you're stopping at a traffic light for a long time. That kind of innings, right? They've got 180, but there were periods when they were becalmed. There were periods when they were storming along. I don't know why Pooran's batting at 4. It's the short answer to that.
There you go. The overs 7 to 10, they went for just 750 the run rate. So they started very well. They slowed down. They went back up, and then they finished off well. Fortunately, because of Pooran, because there was a Reece Topley over which went for just 2, I think, and a Yash Dayal over which went for just 5, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was Glenn Maxwell really that's put the squeeze on. That was the problem for Lucknow from 7 to 10 overs. Just couldn't get Maxwell away. 51 dot balls, it's a lot. It's a lot of dot balls. I mean, the pitch, I think, is a bit inconsistent. Whether it gets better as the night goes on, we'll have to wait and see. But I just look at Nicholas Pooran. He's faced 21 balls. If you said to the RCB, Nicholas Pooran's just going to face 20, even though he's done a bit of damage, he's faced 21 balls. Why they don't put him at number 4 to try and get him to face 40, 50 balls, I'll never know. Because if they can get him out there for 40, 50 balls, he can get 100 for them. I just think he's such a good player. He played a shot through cover point on the ground, a drive, just a pure balanced drive. It went like a tracer bullet. And then he started hitting the sixes. But he's got all the pure strokes, and then obviously he's got the gears whenever he wants to go, right, OK, it's time to hit a few sixes. But I'd just throw him in at number 4. Yeah. And if he comes in the 6th over, he comes in the 6th over. If he comes in the 4th over, you get him in early. I just think when you've got a player like that, I'd be looking to try and get him as many balls as possible.
Yeah. I think he can score 100.
Quite easy.
Is that good? When the 17th over started, he had played 4 balls. Now, he played each ball in the last 2 overs, and they got 33. So they just need to get him to bat more.
Like you said, the simple answer is we don't know, because this is something that everyone's asking. And
sometimes when you're very good at something, people only want you to do that. So because he's so good finishing, they're only getting him to finish. But can you imagine him starting the 17th over, 50 not out?
Yeah.
Then he could get 100 in the last 3 overs for all that, the way he's hitting.
Because it was those middle overs where if they could have accelerated, the score could have been much more than 200, but it wasn't meant to be.
I know what they're doing. They've got Quinton de Kock, left-hander at the top. They've got Badikal, number 3, left-hander. They're probably thinking at number 4, well, we need a right-hander. So that's why Stoinis is going at number 4. But I just think when you've got a player that's so good, forget what hand he's batting. He's just too good to be wasted kind of till the back end of the innings.
Many years ago, I'm just starting out in my profession. I'm sitting in Sharjah and I'm watching the game, and someone taps me from behind. And I turn back, it's Tiger Patowdy. So I'm already a little bit, Tiger Patowdy. He said, "Wo do kaun hai? Who are those two going out of bat?" One was Sidhu, I don't know the other one. I said, no. I said, they like a left-right opening combination. He said, oh, I thought you said your best 2 out. That's all he said.
Isn't that the most important?
I thought you said your best 2 out.
Oh, I think, look, when I look at their kind of group of players, I think they're quite dangerous. I think if they can get the combinations right, I think Stoinis could actually bat at 3.
Yes.
Pooran 4.
And then you can bat Deepak Hooda at 5.
Yeah.
And
so then you get that right hand,
where does
left
Padikal
hand.
go?
Maybe leave him out for a while because he's not getting it. I don't know.
Yeah, something's got to happen. But I just think Stoinis is better earlier against the Pacers. And I think Pooran, you've just got to get him in at number 4 because he's just, as Harsha just said, he's a player that could get 100 or 130. He's a pure, and particularly you have these periods in your career where you're hot.
Yes.
And he's in one of those periods, like Henrik Larsson, he's hot. Get him in. And I'll be doing that with Nicholas Pooran. He just looks in such good form that you just want to give him all the opportunities to get as many as possible.
We'll have a look at the batting card because the start they wanted was given to them by Quinton de Kock. You know, we were talking about how he's just so beautiful to watch when he gets going. 81 of 56. KL Rahul was trying to up the ante when he got out to Maxwell, but Harsha, that knock by Quinton de Kock, he's just so good looking when he's batting.
You know, interestingly, the fact that Quinton de Kock got out at the end, it allowed Pooran to flower. So maybe I got the feeling he was tiring. I don't know what it was. Quinton de Kock's run rate was just tapering off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if he hadn't got that 80, and he got that in very good time, because around that time, KL Rahul had started very slowly, and then he quickly, he upped it, he got a couple of sixes. Padikkal started slowly. So if they got the 54 or whatever they did in the power play, it was largely because of Quinton de Kock.
But again, we spoke about Rahul and Padikkal. They were coming back home. You'd expect, one of them to shine. Rahul looked like he was in great nick, and then unfortunately he went to kind of accelerate and then got out to Maxwell.
Yeah, he played okay. He just played if you kind of, like the roll to Quinton. It was almost like, Quinton, you're striking, I'll try and give you ones. Yeah. And then he got one down the ground, a nice 6. I just look at KL and I just think he's so geared to the longer format. He's such a pure player. I mean, every now and again, obviously it's a lovely shot down the ground, but I'd just love to see him go for it. I really think he's got a good enough mind and a good enough game to go for it a little bit earlier. I look at, and I think sometimes when you bat in Bengaluru, because you're always thinking of boundaries, you're always thinking of the big shot. And I think sometimes you need a player or two that can go, okay, get the 1s and 2s as well. It's not always about, but I can understand why, because the ball flies to all parts. But if you look at those 51 dot balls, a lot of them was trying to go for the big yahoo, because they're thinking of boundaries all the time at this venue. So I can give them a semi-excuse, but I think if the RCB side is smart and clever and not just look for the big shots and the big boundaries, it should be a target that they should be thinking about chasing down. I'm not saying comfortably. I don't think it's a target that's a comfortable chase, but they should be able to chase that down.
Let's do the numbers with what Michael was saying. They've hit 14 sixes, that is 84 runs, and they've only got 8, 9, 10 boundaries. 10 boundaries is 10 fours, that's 40. So they've got 124 in 14 and 24 balls. If you play 40 dot balls, if you got 124 and you've got another 80, 90 balls left, in those 80, 90 balls, even if you score run a ball, so you play 40 dot balls, you hit 42s, you've still got close to 200 runs. So if you budget for
the 51 dots, yes.
But when you're not hitting a dot, if you're playing say 35, 40 dot balls, but you're hitting a lot of 2s, 1s and 2s in between, if you can hit as many 6s as they've hit, you can still get to 200 consistently.
But was this pitch not a very Chinnaswamy kind of a pitch? We spoke about it in the pre-match show, and when you said that it was a little patchy, there was a little green somewhere. But with Chinnaswamy, you're just used to tarmac.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was surprised with the RCB. They went for Yorkers. And it doesn't look to me like it's a Yorker style pitch. You saw Cameron Green bowl full tosses bang into the stands. Reece Topley bowled, 2 full tosses straight into the stands. Every time it was length. All right, Quinton got the odd ball straight length where he kind of just picked it up and it went over quite a wide fine for 6, but I didn't see many length balls just out here, where the ball was just coming off at different pace. I didn't see many of those balls flying to the stands, and sometimes when you get on a pitch like this, you forget the Yorker, because the Yorker, you miss it either way, and it's actually quite nice. So again, towards the back end, Pooran play one that was quite full and he just flicked it straight into the stands. It wasn't a full toss, it was a half volley. Whereas if it was just like length ball, I didn't see too many go flying into the stands because it was coming off at different paces. So I think it looked clever, and I've watched that. I'd be surprised if the bowling coach going, look, when we get down to it and someone just go heavy into, change your variations, your angles, but go heavy into length.
Do you think what Graham Swan said is happening there, because there's grassy patches and there's ball patches, that if it hits the ball patch, it stops, and if it's a grassy patch, it comes along a bit?
Yeah,
Can that happen?
Definitely. No, that absolutely happens. When there's pure grass, obviously it hits the pure grass, it'll skid on. If it hits a bare patch, it's likely to kind of grab into the surface and maybe stop or cut. So when you see a pitch that's got a little bit a difference on it. There's bound to be some variations.
You know, you were talking about Pooran's sixes, especially the ones which he hit through point. Where you said you were a little surprised that they bowled those Yorkers. I think I'd like to show you all something where, you know, this is his they're calling him the sixth monster.
He's a big six hitter.
But he's hitting 8.6. That's balls per six.
Yeah.
So it's like what Glassen's been doing as
Look
well.
at Dre Russ, 6.6.
Every over, almost every over is hitting a six.
That's ridiculous. Oh, he with Henrik Klassen is the powerhouse in the middle at the minute. He's just, you can just see he's got such a lovely kind of stance. It's such a natural stance and natural back lift and pure power. And when he's hitting those, he's just got a real wide base. Sometimes when you see players hit sixes, it just looks a bit ugly. It looks like, oh, it's just a little bit of a hack. Whereas when he hits this, it's just pure bat swing. It's fantastic to watch.
You spoke about Maxwell and how he kind of choked the batters. We'll have a look at the bowling card as well. But Maxwell, surprisingly, in one of the matches, said he does not want to bowl at the Chinnaswamy. From there to being one of the best bowlers,
I'm standing with it. We had him mic'd up. And he said, Cam Green's the one. He said, he's got the big bucks, let him bowl. He said, I don't want to bowl on this. And that day he bowled well too.
Yes.
And I just wonder if there's a story there, the way Maxwell bowled. If you're a spinner who's pinging the ball into the deck, Krunal Pandya will do that. And if they use that Manimaran Siddharth, who's a left-arm spinner, hits the deck, and they've got 6 right-handers in the top 7. I just wonder if they look at Maxwell and say, right, maybe that's the way to go. Bishnu is a skiddy guy anyway. You might get 12 overs from there. I don't know how
I think Krunal's the key because he bats, and the reason why I say I think Glenn Maxwell is such a good bowler because he bats. I think when he's running up to, he knows exactly what the batter's thinking, particularly batters in this format who are striking. He knows exactly where they're looking to hit it, and he just kind of bowls the hardest ball away from where they think they're going to hit the ball. So I think it's such a big advantage when you've got really good batters who can bowl. That's why, look at India in white ball cricket. They need to find 1 or 2 batters that bowl a bit. Back in the day when you won the World Cup in 2011 on this day,
Yuvraj, Sehwag, Tendulkar,
all could just bowl a little bit. It just adds, and I just think it's, particularly in white ball cricket, it's always an advantage when you've got a couple of batters who can actually think like a bat when they've got the ball in the hand.
You think it's a power play chase, isn't it? They've got to max the power play. It's a power play chase, I think.
But do you think Siraj is a bit of a concern, or you all wouldn't be concerned because it's the Chinnaswamy? He was expensive again today.
Again, right?
Because Yash Dayal, he's I think gone for 46. Yash Dayal was very impressive. He's given, we see the 12 dot balls, economy
took pace
of 6.
Off, did he?
He took a lot of pace
Yash
off.
Dayal bowled a lot of pace off.
I felt for Siraj and Topley actually because I didn't think they bowled that badly, but they got Pooran. He just gets on it. And if you look at the last over, Siraj bowled 3 dot balls.
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden, 6-6, and it looks like a bad over. I think sometimes when you bowl against someone like Pooran, it's very hard to judge a bowler because you're talking about this. You're talking about an inch or so. You miss your lines and your lengths by an inch, or you get you thinking just slightly wrong. Well, it's not just going for 6. He put one on the roof.
Yes.
One was just trickling down the road in Bengaluru. It's a huge hit.
They say when Chris Gale used to play at that ground, they used to all line up at Cubbon Park just across the road because they knew they'd get a free ball or 2 there. Pooran's playing in that. He's hitting a 6 every 8.5 balls. I mean, that's incredible, that stat.
But you spoke about Siraj not, he bowled pretty all right, and it was just Pooran kind of weaving his magic. But with Siraj, do you think he's maybe trying too much because he's spoken about working on a whole lot of variations. He's spoken about how he's trying to get the outswinger going and he's very happy with it going. Then he said he's moving to the wobble seams. So he's speaking about trying to get a lot of variations. I
just wonder if the test match format is his best format. He's a test match bowler, much like Shami is a test match bowler. He had a great season last year, but you think of Shami and you don't think, wow, what a white ball bowler, what a T20 bowler, in spite of what he did last year. I just think they're all test match bowlers. They use the seam beautifully, they swing it away. They asked Shami once, he said, why don't you bowl cross seam? He said, cross seam? He said, that's for cowards. He said, the seam is my weapon.
Yeah,
I think they're just very good long-form bowlers.
I do think there's, a lot of the balls get taught. They need lots of variation. We'll talk about, Yadav, who's going to bowl now. Can he swing it? Can he cut it? Can he bowl slow balls? But sometimes actually just bowling a heavy ball into length straight. It's quite a hard ball to hit, particularly when you're bowling at 85 miles an hour plus, and you're on a pitch like we've just seen that the odd ball might skid, the odd ball might bounce. I look at someone like Josh Hazlewood. You know, he's a wonderful white ball bowler. He doesn't change much. No. He runs in with his height and just whacks length really hard, and he watches the batter. So obviously the batter gives himself a big space. He might follow him. He might throw it out a bit wider to the offside. So he's smart in terms of watching the batter, but he very rarely changes. I reckon 85% of his deliveries are his test match deliveries, which is to hit the top of off stump.
It's got to be a good start off, because every time Kohli comes into bat, they want to bring the left arm spinner, right? The numbers are saying, bowl left arm spinner against Kohli. And I think they're starting, that's
They've
what the producer
got
just
Virat,
said. They're starting with the left arm spinner against Kohli.
Is that a surprise? Do you think it can go both ways? Because we know how attacking he's been, so he goes in for the attack.
I like that. I like that to Virat. Just dangle the carrot to him, because what Virat likes is a bit of pace, get himself off and to a couple of boundaries. With a spinner, he's got to make, well, unless he bowls a really bad ball, which you would expect him not to. You know, you're basically saying to Virat, you're going to have to make the play.
Also, the big news is KL Rahul's keeping. So all the questions we've been asking are getting answered slowly and steadily.
They've got 3 keepers in the side.
Yeah.
Pooran, Quinton, Kock and KL Rahul. So Quinton Kock subbed out. He's cool.
Done.
Oh, he's
done
happy with that.
his
He's delighted with that.
Yeah, Indian summer, even if you're in Bangalore, Indian summer, you've batted 50, 55 balls, hitting the ball, you're sweating a bit. Thank you, I'll put my feet up.
Michael can put his feet up now because he's won. He's won.
So let's get him to do the power play. Come on, Michael, tell us, power play.
Winners to start.
51.
First 4 balls, 2 runs. Okay. 55.
So you've cheated a little bit there, haven't you?
No, but I've gone over.
51, 55.
I'm saying 55 because that's their chance. If they get 40, 45, they're not winning this game.
I'll say 61.
61?
I think Michael's
I'm just
winning.
going high.
I just have a feeling Michael's winning this.
I think so too.
What's Gareth gone to now?
Oh, we don't have that information yet.
Yes.
We will go and get that information quickly because like we said, the competition's with Gaurav Kapoor. That's all for now. We go eat our dinner quickly. You all eat your dinner, but don't forget to join us at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you all soon.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें